The camera moves slowly across a dark, rugged leather surface. Deep grooves and scale-like patterns catch the light, giving it a look that feels ancient, almost prehistoric. At first glance, it raises an obvious question. Is this really made from dinosaur skin, or is the story far more complicated than the name suggests? The idea of dinosaur leather sounds impossible. Dinosaurs went extinct more than 65 million years ago, long before humans, factories, or fashion existed. No skin, no hide, and no usable material from dinosaurs has ever survived to the modern age. So why does this leather exist, and why does it sell for such high prices in today's luxury market? Names matter. Terms like dinosaur leather are used to describe appearance, strength, and texture, not biological origin. The material is designed to look ancient, tough, and powerful, drawing inspiration from fossils, reptile skin, and our cultural image of dinosaurs as unstoppable creatures. What you're seeing is the result of modern processing techniques, carefully treated hides or advanced materials shaped to mimic a prehistoric aesthetic. Every ridge, scale, and hardened fiber is engineered, not excavated. The name may spark curiosity, but the real story is about craftsmanship, marketing, and modern manufacturing, where imagination turns ordinary materials into million-dollar products. The phrase dinosaur leather immediately grabs attention. It sounds rare, powerful, and almost impossible. But despite the dramatic name, dinosaurs disappeared millions of years before humans ever learned how to make leather. No dinosaur skin has survived into the modern world, and none is used in manufacturing today. So why does this term exist in luxury industries? Names are carefully chosen to create an emotional response. Dinosaur leather is not a scientific label, it's a marketing term. It's used to describe leather that looks unusually tough, textured, and prehistoric in appearance. The name taps into our shared image of dinosaurs as massive, resilient creatures, suggesting strength and endurance without making a literal claim. This kind of naming is common in high-end branding. In fashion and design, materials are often described using bold language to communicate feeling rather than origin. Words like armor, battle-worn, or fossil-inspired help buyers visualize durability and exclusivity. The product isn't ancient, it's designed to feel timeless. Exotic-looking leathers play a major role in this market. In fashion, bold textures help brands stand out in a crowded luxury space. In automotive interiors, rugged leather signals performance, status, and craftsmanship. In accessories like watches, bags, and wallets, unusual patterns suggest rarity and individuality. As consumers look for products that feel distinctive, visual complexity becomes a selling point. Smooth leather can be elegant, but heavily textured. Leather tells a story. It suggests age, strength, and character qualities that connect emotionally with buyers. Dinosaur leather is part of that story. It reflects how modern manufacturing, branding, and consumer psychology come together, transforming ordinary materials into symbols of power, durability, and high-end design. The process behind so-called dinosaur leather begins with material selection. Manufacturers choose modern animal hides or, in some cases, lab-developed alternatives specifically for their thickness and fiber density. These materials are selected not for rarity, but for strength, because the final product must withstand heavy processing without losing integrity. Once selected, the hides move into specialized tanning. Unlike standard leather tanning, this stage focuses on reinforcing the internal fiber structure. Controlled chemical treatments stabilize the material, reduce moisture sensitivity, and increase long-term durability. This is what allows the leather to feel firm and rugged rather than soft and flexible. Next comes texture creation. Through a combination of mechanical pressure and surface treatments, the leather is shaped to form deep ridges, raised patterns, and scale-like impressions. These textures are intentionally uneven, designed to resemble natural aging or prehistoric skin rather than modern uniform finishes. Each pass through the machines adds depth and character. Color is added during the dyeing stage. Dark browns, charcoal blacks, and earthy tones are commonly used to enhance the ancient look. Multiple dye layers may be applied to create variation, allowing lighter and darker areas to emerge naturally across the surface. Finishing oils and protective coatings are then added to seal the texture and improve resistance to wear. Before the leather leaves the factory floor, it undergoes final inspection. Technicians examine thickness, texture consistency, and surface strength. Only sections that meet strict visual and structural standards are approved. These pieces are then cut and prepared for use in luxury products such as high-end bags, automotive interiors, or custom accessories. What looks prehistoric is actually the result of precise modern engineering, where every step is designed to transform raw material into a carefully crafted, high-value product. Despite how it sounds, dinosaur leather has no biological connection to dinosaurs at all. The term is purely descriptive. No dinosaur DNA, fossils, or preserved skin are involved in the process. Dinosaurs vanished tens of millions of years ago, and organic materials like skin simply do not survive that long. What exists today is a modern material shaped to resemble something ancient. The inspiration behind the texture comes from a mix of sources. Designers study reptile skins, such as crocodilians and lizards, as well as fossil reconstructions created by paleontologists. These references help guide the scale patterns, spacing, and surface depth seen in the finished leather. The goal is not accuracy, but suggestion enough visual detail to trigger a prehistoric association in the viewer's mind. One reason this leather commands high prices is the complexity of its production. Unlike standard smooth leather, textured finishes require multiple processing stages. Each step adds time, labor, and risk. If the hide cracks, warps, or loses consistency, it cannot be used. This higher rejection rate increases overall cost. Even though the base material itself is not rare. The value comes from effort, not origin. This approach to naming is common in luxury goods. Products are often labeled in ways that communicate strength, durability, or heritage without making literal claims. Watches are described as tool-grade, vehicles as armored, and fabrics as battle-tested. These terms signal toughness and exclusivity, even when the materials are entirely modern. Dinosaur leather follows the same logic. The name creates a story, one that connects ancient imagery with contemporary craftsmanship. For consumers, that story adds emotional value, transforming a processed hide into a statement piece. In the luxury market, perception matters as much as performance, and carefully chosen language plays a powerful role in shaping both. Behind the dramatic appearance of dinosaur leather is a tightly controlled production system. Quality control begins long before any processing takes place. Manufacturers rely on strict sourcing standards to ensure all materials come from legal, regulated suppliers. These rules help confirm that hides are obtained as byproducts of existing industries, rather than from unregulated or illegal practices. Once materials enter the supply chain, traceability becomes essential. Many factories use tracking systems that document each hide's journey from origin and treatment to final cutting and delivery. This allows manufacturers and buyers to verify consistency, quality, and compliance with regional and international standards. If defects or concerns arise, batches can be traced and reviewed without disrupting the entire production line. Sustainability is becoming a growing focus within the industry. Traditional leather processing can be resource-intensive, requiring large amounts of water and chemicals. In response, some manufacturers are adopting improved tanning methods that reduce waste, recycle water, and limit harmful runoff. These changes are driven not only by regulation, but by consumer demand for more responsible products. At the same time, interest in lab-grown and alternative leathers is increasing. These materials are designed to replicate the strength and texture of traditional leather while lowering environmental impact. Although still developing, they represent a potential future where visual complexity and durability no longer depend solely on animal-derived materials. The industry now faces ongoing pressure to balance appearance with accountability. Consumers want bold, distinctive textures, but they also expect transparency and ethical practices. For manufacturers, success depends on meeting both expectations. In this environment, dinosaur leather is evolving beyond its name. What defines its value today is not just how it looks, but how responsibly it is made and how well modern craftsmanship aligns with long-term sustainability goals. In the end, Dinosaur leather is less about the past and more about how stories are built in the modern world. It represents a fusion of imagination, marketing, and advanced manufacturing, where a powerful name helps transform an everyday material into something that feels extraordinary. There is nothing ancient hidden within the leather itself. Its value does not come from fossils, extinct creatures, or lost history. Instead, it comes from the skill and precision of modern craftsmanship. Engineers, designers, and technicians work together to manipulate texture, strength, and appearance, using technology to create materials that feel bold, rugged, and timeless. This is how luxury often works. The product tells a story, and that story shapes perception. In this case, the story borrows imagery from deep time, even though the process is entirely modern. What matters is not literal origin, but the experience. The material creates how it looks, how it feels, and what it symbolizes. As materials science continues to advance, the future of luxury leather is likely to change. New processing techniques, lab-developed alternatives, and sustainable innovations are expanding what's possible. Texture, durability, and visual impact no longer depend on tradition alone. They are increasingly driven by research,